Smart people, dare to be different.
Don't you feel suffocated with everyone wanting to know every move and action of yours?
When you come into public life, you must be ready to sacrifice a lot in respect of privacy. Because whatever you do is of interest to the people. And so, to an extent, the people need to know more about you and what you're doing. So you lose a lot of privacy. That is one of my major regrets. As a human being, I've been a very private person. And so adjusting to living in the full glare of the public eye is not easy.
Wow.
You can't go anywhere, especially at the level one has reached. I mean, when you were a minister, you could
still go to the club.
Out. You could go out
without... Were you clubbing?
Well, myself and my camera, we went out a few times. I hope Mike won't mind that I said this.
Oh, but
yeah, we're much younger then. I was in my late 30s.
Oh, that's...
yeah, I think I was 38 or 39 when I was made a deputy minister. So you have a little space, but then when you progress above that to vice president and president, then your security is important to the authorities. And so you always have people, security, men and others, following you wherever you go.
Yes, I've been wanting to ask you this. Why are you so simple and always smiling? We need to know. Viewers, you agree with me, we need to know the secrets.
I think that's how I grew up. I've grown up. My dad, even though was quite well-to-do, brought us up, letting us understand, that he had a favorite thing. He said the world is like a cycle. One moment you're up, the next moment you're down. So if you're up, you must remember that tomorrow you might be down. So just adopt a simple life, be as humble as possible, as simple as possible, so that the occasions when you're down, it doesn't have too much of an effect on you.
But what about the smiling face that you wear all the time?
I think that it comes from my inner person. I love other human beings, and my inner being, reaches out to them. And so when I meet people, the first thing I have is a pleasant outlook.
So give me a smile. There is a worldwide water crisis, and here in Ghana, many communities have grown out of their sources of water. What should we expect in the next 5 years? By way of mitigation.
As the world's population grows, we put a lot of pressure on what we call the freshwater sources. There is water. If you go to the sea level is even rising, so it means there's water in the sea. But that is salinated water. We have salinated water and we have fresh water. Now, fresh water is the water that we drink and the water that we process to drink. And so as the world's population grows, we put more pressure on our freshwater sources. One of the major problems is that for rivers and lakes and other things, they draw their water from what they call catchment areas. And so it must rain in those catchment areas. There must be trees there, to regulate how the water is trapped to flow into the river. Now, as our population grows, we keep cutting down the trees in the catchment areas of the rivers. So the rivers are not able to trap enough water, and so the water levels continue to dwindle. It is said that by 2020, some countries will face a very serious water deficit.
I hope Ghana is not one of them.
Ghana potentially could be if we don't arrest the downward movement of the Sahara. And that's why this Savannah Accelerated Development Authority program is crucial, because an aspect of the program is environmental, to see how we can protect the environment in the Savannah, because the Savannah is our buffer against the Sahel. After the Savannah, you go to the Sahel, and then from the Sahel, you go to the Sahara. And so that is our natural defense against the encroaching desert. So we need to improve the environment there.
What about our health? I mean, National Health Insurance Scheme, is it in crisis?
You know, going forward, the number of registrants has increased dramatically. And so there's a lot of pressure on the sources of financing, you know, for the National Health Insurance Scheme. Our government came up with a proposal to introduce a one-time premium payment. A one-time premium payment means that when you pay once, you don't pay again for life. You have cover. You know, it's possible because if you look at the revenue that goes into the National Health Insurance, less than 6% of it comes from premium payments. Okay. And so it's not such a major contributor to the resources of the fund. But as the fund has expanded and due to certain other issues like fraud, there have been downright fraud by a lot of the facilities, you know, just stealing the money, you know, putting in false claims and all that. And so that threatened the stability of the fund, you know, and going forward, we need to find ways and means of channeling more money. There was a point where the Ghana Medical Association suggested using part of revenue from petroleum to finance the health insurance. And it was wrongly attributed to me. I didn't say it. I just said that I thought it was a good idea, you know, but it didn't receive much favor. But what it means is that we need to find, you know, other sources of financing the National Health Insurance. Some have come with suggestions that we should increase VAT by another 1% or so, but it's still under discussion and we'll see how things go forward.
Wow. The youth of your party are disenchanted about your slow pace of job creation. What message do you have for them?
Well, the point is, I have always said that jobs are naturally created by growth. When an economy is growing, it creates natural, sustainable jobs. You understand? Now, if the economy is not growing fast enough, you can introduce what we call artificial job creation programs. Yeah. But those are temporary, unsustainable, you know, like the National Youth Employment Program. It's not the kind of program that can give people permanent jobs. So what the Youth Employment Program should be is, it should be a skills acquisition program where it prepares young people with the kind of skills they need for the world of work. You understand? But what will guarantee jobs to our people is how fast we grow this economy. Happily, GDP growth rate is picking up. Indeed, it's predicted that Ghana will be the fastest growing economy in the world this year with about 13.4% growth. We predicted 12.4, 12.3. But it's predicted that we'll grow above 13%.
Good to hear.
And subsequently, we'll grow at an average of about between 8 and 10% a year. So it means that the prospects going forward for our young people are very bright.
Smart people always believe.